Here we are in the heart of London's East End, in Millwall on the Isle of Dogs, in Millwall on the Isle of Dogs. And if you watch the BBC soap EastEnders and watch the opening credits, you'll see a U-bend in the river, and that's exactly where we are. I was actually born in a hospital in a place called Bow, a couple of miles away, almost a true Cockney, but not actually. And this house across the road, number 251, is where I came after I was born and spent the first 19 years of my life in this house. The exterior has been changed with a bit of new brickwork, but I would imagine inside it's changed greatly. It's probably got a nice bathroom and an inside toilet these days. And at the other end of this lovely Victorian terrace is 237, which was never actually a house. It was actually a newsagent's store many years ago, and it was actually the shop from which I did a paper round. Behind these gates and those small sailing boats you can see is actually Millwall Dock, or rather what used to be, and you can actually see the southern end of the Canary Wharf development. All that remains of the activity that used to be in the docks are those cranes that have been kept for posterity. Most people who live here now would never know that what used to be here was actually the entrance to Millwall Dock, which was guarded by a policeman on the gate. Also just along the road from the house is what used to be a former council estate and what now serves as a car park was the only enclosed space that we could play football apart from on the streets. Millwall, like the rest of Docklands, has changed greatly over the years, and this row of shops and flats above it was the site of a former haulage depot. And this block, which houses a Chinese supermarket at the bottom, used to be the local pub, the Kingsbridge Arms. And what was the local church is now a theatre space and a bar and restaurant. Some of those changes are for the better, of course, like 3 bus services instead of the time when I lived here when there was only 1. But whenever I come back, I always have mixed feelings about the redevelopment of the area where I grew up. While some churches have a change of use, others get rebuilt. This is the one that actually has a primary school adjacent to it. And here is the old primary school, typical of the old London school board buildings of the late 19th, early 20th century. Harbinger Primary School with, as it says on the sign, its entrance in Care Street, although Harbinger Road is on the opposite side of the building, is my old primary school, Harbinger Primary School. Not looking very different, except for the windows. And even the caretaker's house is not much changed. But we didn't have a playground with facilities like that. Signs of the changing times. Here is an old wharf warehouse being redeveloped, and right next door to it is a building that used to be the Robbie Burns Public House. Pubs and churches like the docks and the dockside industries, the riverside wharves and the local industries that went along with them are of course victims and casualties of change, and this is one of the few remaining local pubs on the Isle of Dogs. And there used to be a fire station, but it is no more. It's now a bistro. I have no idea how far away the nearest fire station is now. And another that survived longer than most. And the names of the pubs, together with the street names, at least give some reminder of the nautical history of the Isle of Dogs. And finally, something positive. Who'd have thought when I was a boy that we would have had something like the Docklands Light Railway? At least now you can actually get on and off the island, unlike when I was a boy with just the 1 bus route. Here we are in East London, and this pleasant, peaceful road is Ramsey Road in Forest Gate, London E7, and was actually my home for over 30 years. During those 30 years or so, I lived in this house, number 12, which was actually the first and only house that I ever bought and owned. The front of the house hasn't actually changed at all in the 4 years since I lived here, except for the satellite dish. The house contained many happy memories over the years, and of course I miss it dearly. No, this isn't a tour of places where I used to live. We've actually come here because this is Brisbane Road, home of Leyton Orient Football Club. This is the Oliver Road side of the ground, and as you might be able to see from the badge, the club was formed in 1881 and is actually the second oldest league club in London. This side of the ground, of course, has been redeveloped and houses everything you'd expect in a modern football club, even though we are in the depths of League Two at the moment. Here is a very important part of the stadium, particularly before and after matches, where supporters enjoy real ale, and the supporters club actually wins awards for keeping its beer in excellent condition. Modern day football is so tainted by greed and money these days. It's just so good and so reassuring to come back home to a local football club like Leyton Orient.